Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about a very important step in your self-discovery journey, knowing who and what you are not. If you ever feel confused about who you really are, don't worry. You're not alone. Today, we'll learn how understanding what you don't want or don't like can actually help you discover your true self. So stay with me till the end, and let's begin this powerful journey of self-awareness. Chapter 3. How to be you. The need to fit in, to be like the most popular and cool person, and to be accepted with love is something we all feel. But how long do you think you can keep doing this? How long can you keep hiding and pushing down your true self? How long will you keep acting differently for different people? You act one way with your partner, less another way with your boss, a different way with your friends, and again a different way with your family. And in all of this, the real you is lost. You have lost your true self, your true essence. Imagine yourself as a computer. You keep opening new tabs for every person you meet. New person, new tab. Maybe that's the reason your real self has crashed. It's not like I'm perfect. I have also tried to change myself into someone who is loved and accepted by everyone. In fact, there are times when, without thinking, I hide what I really feel or who I really am, just to look like someone people would want to be around. But why? Why do we try so hard to get other people's attention? And is it really worth losing who we really are? Do you know what's strange? After we completely lose ourselves, we start trying those self-love tricks. Sometimes it feels like we're just pretending with ourselves. I'm not a love expert, not at all. But I do know one thing. You fall in love with someone when you truly get to know them, right? So let's find you again so that you can fall in love with the real you. Self-love starts with self-acceptance. I've been using social media like a spy for the past year. During this time, I saw that more and more people are talking about self-love. But the more I read about it, the less I felt like thinking about self-love. Self-love started to feel more like self-pity. As if that wasn't enough, big companies and smart marketers started using this trend of self-love to sell cute shampoo bottles, costly perfumes, and similar things. I never understood how self-love became about decorating yourself from head to toe. So, I want to share what self-love really means, a meaning that people don't talk about often. To make it simple, self-love is about two things. One, knowing yourself, what you think, how you think, what your real nature is, what's hidden behind all your good manners, what your true personality is, and more. We'll talk about this in the next chapter. 2, accepting yourself. Accepting everything that's inside you, whether it's good or bad. Most people hide their bad side deep inside so that no one sees their darker side. But what they don't understand is, the deeper you hide it, the darker it becomes inside your heart. And that darkness starts eating you slowly until you can't see any light anymore. Society teaches us that we always have to be loving, kind, and cute. That's what we see in movies and web series, right? Good people are always kind to everyone. And slowly we also start thinking there are good people and bad people. If I become one of the good ones, people will love and accept me. Then what happens? We try too hard to be nice. We try to be kind to everyone, even to people who are rude to us, because that's what we think good people do. But trying to be nice all the time wears you out. How can you be kind to others when you are hurt? How can you give love when you need help yourself? You try so hard to be a good person that you kill a part of yourself inside. Then suddenly you feel like, oh, I need healing? Wow, what a trap. This reminds me of something else. Even though we want to be kind and good, we often feel more connected to the villain in a story. Why? Because villains remind us that we all can act badly sometimes, not because we want to, but because we are humans with many emotions. We are not mobile phones where Android and iOS don't mix. You are a human. For God's sake, treat yourself like one. Villains teach us that our bad side doesn't define us, but it is still part of us. Since society doesn't like the parts of us that don't fit into the good person box, we hide everything we really feel, think, and enjoy. I don't know when you or I started silencing our inner voice, but we've done it well enough that now we're searching for self-love outside. If you ask me, I also used to think I was a good person. I believe in kindness, love, care, and being warm to people. I want people to see that kindness and love still exist. But I also know I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes hurt others. But hating myself for making mistakes, letting people go, or saying what I feel will not help me love myself. So, can we please stop this game? Can you please stop pretending that your dark side isn't there? Let me give you an example from my life so you can understand better. As I said, I always wanted to be kind to people. I didn't want to make anyone cry. But after 2 years of deeply observing myself, I learned something about my own behavior. I can be selfish sometimes. Yes, that's true. I'm not perfect and I'm not God. I've chosen myself over my friends many times. But this self-love journey has taught me that it's okay to accept that I can be selfish sometimes. That's just one part of who I am. I know people think good people shouldn't be selfish, but I am. Now I have two choices. I can hate myself for that, or I can learn to use that trait in a better way. That means learning to choose myself, my happiness, and my goals before anything else. This one truth helped me understand how I behave in relationships with friends and family. Now that I know this about myself, I clearly share what others can expect from me. This honesty brings peace in my relationship with myself and with others. If you don't know yourself, you'll keep making the same mistakes in your relationships. And when people leave, you'll ask, why doesn't anyone want to be with me? Maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But no. Self-love, my dear, is not just about taking bubble baths or putting on expensive makeup and calling it a self-care day. That's just lifestyle. Self-love means knowing everything about yourself, no matter how dark, ugly, or hard it is, and still accepting yourself fully. Self-love means turning your flaws into strengths instead of hiding them from the world. Self-love means choosing yourself every day, understanding your habits, checking your behavior, and knowing your thoughts, even if they're mean sometimes. Self-love means building a safe place inside you where you can just be you, without trying to heal, act, or be perfect. You are beautiful even with your dark sides, not by hiding them behind a mask of goodness. Honestly, I feel sad to even call it a dark side, because it's not really dark, it's just a part of who we are. That's how we're made. That's what makes us unique and different. You don't have to hurt others. You just have to stop hating yourself for having traits that society doesn't like. Be proud of who you are and accept every single part of yourself. Now that you know you don't have to be classy or perfect to love yourself, I think it will be easier to discover the real you. Let's go on this journey of meeting yourself. Self-love grows with self-knowledge. I wish I could tell you some tricks or steps to help you understand yourself better, or maybe give you a schedule or a video you could follow. But sadly, you are not a topic that you can study, understand, and then move on from. You are a human. Well, yes, that's not new information, but to keep it simple, as humans we change quickly. We grow. Our likes and dislikes change. The way we work changes. Our priorities also change. What worked for you yesterday might not work tomorrow. What you liked 3 months ago may not be your favorite today. The way you enjoyed spending your time 6 months ago might be something you don't like at all now. So let me be clear. I'm sorry, but I can't give you some random tips that look nice on paper and sound inspiring just for a moment, only to make you feel bad later when you can't follow them. Yes, I know this is a self-help book, and you might expect me to give you some great methods, but my dear, you are not some project that always needs fixing. The journey of knowing yourself is not something you can finish in 1 day or even in 3 weeks. It's a journey that goes on for your whole life. We live in a world full of distractions. It takes less than a second to start wanting something you never even needed, just because everyone else seems to have it or enjoy it. In this kind of world, where there is always noise around us, it becomes very hard to listen to the voice deep inside us. And let me say it again, knowing yourself is a journey that lasts a lifetime. And so is the challenge of not losing yourself. There are a few things that help me, and I hope they help you too. These are not quick fixes, but small habits that I still follow every day. So be ready to practice them regularly. A. Come face to face with your mind. When you are alone, you are only dealing with one mind, your own mind. Some people see this as a gift. Others see it as a punishment. When you are alone, you are by yourself. Your mind has a way of bringing back every bad memory or every possible thing that could go wrong in life. Your mind can play tricks and create problems that don't even exist. When COVID-19 came and we had to stay inside our homes, I started thinking a lot. At first, it felt like a punishment. Why? Because, of course, I wasn't ready to listen to the thousands of thoughts my mind was throwing at me every minute. That's when I realized that my mind never rests. It always finds something for me to worry about. That's probably why I used to want to go out and avoid hearing the voice inside my head. Maybe this is also why many people stay in bad relationships. People are scared of what their own mind might do to them. They are afraid of what their mind might make them believe. They are afraid of what their mind might tell them to do. For example, I would feel like calling some of my rude friends. As Rollo May once said, many people suffer from the fear of finding oneself alone, and so they don't find themselves at all. But then I looked deeper into this problem and told myself, being alone with myself doesn't have to feel so hard or painful if I just become more aware and present. I started having more meetings with my mind. I tried to understand what I think about, how I react to things, what makes me upset, and all the things I was once scared to face. And if there's one thing I've learned from these regular meetings with my own mind, it's this: your mind is not stupid. Your mind is not your enemy. You find it hard to sit with yourself because you have buried so many things inside, things that you don't want to face. But let me tell you something important. There is freedom in knowing yourself. When you face the things your mind tries to scare you with, you start to feel strong, like nothing can break you. So instead of trying to shut your mind up, stand up and face whatever your mind is trying to show you. There were parts of myself I didn't want to face, like how I behave in certain situations. But now that I've accepted those things, I don't fear my own mind anymore. I'm working on those parts of me so I can grow. Use your alone time to know yourself. When you're alone, it's just you, your thoughts, your choices, your behavior, your way of thinking. That makes it easier to study yourself and find out what you like, what you don't like, how you think, and how you react. The reason why many people find it so hard to sit with themselves or think about their own thoughts is simple. There's just too much inside that hasn't been looked at. And after ignoring it for so many years, there's now a big pile of things you need to deal with. So when you finally sit with yourself, it feels scary. Your mind starts attacking you with one bad memory from years ago. Some regrets and mistakes pop up and stay in your mind like unwanted guests. And then there are those dark or sad thoughts that come back even when you try not to think about them. Most people don't have the courage to face all of that. So they choose the easier way, distract themselves with quick fun like watching Netflix or spending time with people they don't even like. But the truth is, you don't know yourself well, and that's why you accept the bare minimum from others. They help distract you, and that's what you really want, right? So yes, there is a lot inside you, but it's all a part of who you are, and there is no permanent escape from it. You have to face it, one day at a time, one thought at a time, one regret, one mistake, one bad decision at a time. And I promise you, once you face it all, once you go through all the memories, once you accept everything your mind was warning you about, you will feel free, like you can breathe without fear. That's when peace begins. So give yourself the time to uncover what you've been ignoring, every thought you are scared to admit, every decision you regret making or not making. Set yourself free. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. It will take time. But if there's one thing I can suggest, it's this. Try this challenge. Every day, take 10 to 15 minutes to just be with your soul. Take some time to get to know yourself. A time when you don't have to pretend. A time when you can accept everything about yourself without fear or judgment. Practice. Sit with yourself and try to read your thoughts. Read your thoughts like you're reading a beautiful old book, like you're spending time with the most interesting person on the planet, you. You can say or feel anything without worrying what people might think. You can talk about your pain or your past as if you're your own therapist. And one day, it will become fun to learn more about yourself. You will feel excited to know why you laugh at certain jokes, why you eat certain food in a certain way. It will start to feel like you are falling in love with yourself. B. Know thyself. I was in high school when one of my teachers said, "You all act like you're very smart, as if you're the kings or queens of the world. But if I ask you to talk about yourself for as many minutes as your age, like 18 minutes if you're 18, none of you could even speak for 1 minute." He added, "And when I say talk about yourself, I don't mean all the tags and titles you've collected. I mean the real you." At that time, I didn't understand what he meant. I thought he was just angry. But now, after reading spiritual books, walking on a spiritual path myself, and listening to my soul, I've realized that you and I are more than just the titles the world gives us. Still, all of us have become like a collection of tags and labels. Some we choose ourselves, and some are given to us by the world. Tags like good or bad, sad or happy, poor or rich, loving or hateful, failure or successful, writer or lawyer, beautiful or ugly, smart or dumb, supportive or toxic. And this list of labels never ends, not until the day we die. Speaking of death reminds me of birth. When we were born, we had no tags. Nothing was good or bad. We just existed in the moment. Maybe that's why everyone loves babies. A baby doesn't judge you by the labels you carry. The baby doesn't say, "Oh, this girl is brown. I wish a young white woman was holding me." The baby doesn't say, "I don't want to be around this person with low grades or I'll become like them." Babies don't care about your past, future, skin color, religion, or money. They just look at you with pure curiosity. You make funny faces to make the baby smile, and when the baby laughs, it makes you feel like you've won a Nobel Prize. But why? Why does happiness feel so simple around a baby? Why do you feel like your true self when you're holding a baby? And why don't you judge the baby? Why don't you think, this baby would be better if it were cuter or born into a rich family? Why don't you compare the baby to other babies? Because the baby lets you be yourself without making you feel bad about your nose, skin color, bank balance, or grades. You are just you when you're holding a baby, and the baby is just a tiny human free of advice or judgment from you. Here's the sad part. We were all babies once. We spread love with our smiles. We made others feel happy without giving them any labels. We were complete and beautiful, and we helped others feel complete and beautiful too. I don't know exactly what made us lose this. Maybe it was an experience, an idea, or the way the world works. But slowly we lost our ability to be happy for no reason, to feel beautiful, and to stop judging ourselves or others. Maybe it started when we began picking up tags from the world. The more tags we carry, the more we forget who we truly are. Society loves putting us into boxes because it makes it easier to sell things. If you're dark-skinned, here's a cream to make you fair. And so on. And sadly, we start treating ourselves and others like these labels. But this system is useless because it makes no one happy. I want to break this system, and you can help me. Here's how. Free yourself and others. When I was around 10 years old, someone in my family died. It was my grandfather's brother's wife. At the funeral, one of my relatives talked about me. She said, "I don't look as good as the other girls in the family." Can you imagine? There's a dead body in the room, and someone is busy judging a child. Do you know how I must have felt? I remember not thinking of myself as beautiful until I was 17. That one comment hurt me so deeply. But worse than that, I believed it. I gave myself the tag of ugly, and it broke my confidence for years. This happens to all of us. We all get different tags from others. And sadly, we begin to believe those tags. And once a tag enters your heart, it stays there and hurts. So I want you to let go of the tags that the world gave you. Let go of the labels you've placed on yourself. And stop putting labels on others too. Don't define people. Don't put them in boxes. Don't label them. Because one label from you can deeply hurt someone else. And if someone gives you a label, good or bad, just whisper to yourself, "Just another tag, but I don't want it." Be free. Let others be free too. Life doesn't have to be so heavy. When we define ourselves by one label, we put all our focus on that one thing. So if that thing goes wrong, we feel like failures. And this doesn't just happen in careers, it happens in relationships too. For example, if I call myself an author, I will always judge myself by how many books I sold or how many people liked my writing. And if someone doesn't like my work, does that mean I'm a bad writer? It's the same in personal life. If I see myself only as a daughter, then I might feel bad if my mom doesn't notice my efforts. Does that mean I'm a bad daughter? Am I just a list of titles? Should I spend my life collecting good labels like good daughter, kind partner, good friend, good writer? But what if I mess up? What if I hurt my friends because I'm going through something? Does that make me a bad person? What if my book doesn't sell? Should I stop writing? I don't think we are just the names or roles the world gives us. One label can't explain who you are. We are more than our jobs or relationships. We are made up of all the people we've met, the places we've been, the books we've read, the songs we've loved, the memories we've created. All these things shape our soul and make us who we are. But when we limit ourselves to one label, we trap ourselves. We try to act, think, and speak in just one way. That's why you and I sometimes feel like there's nothing unique about us. We are just following the crowd. But I believe our identity shouldn't depend on one label, one person, or one goal. We should be undefinable, so complex and full that no one can put us in a box. If someone tries to describe us, it should take them hours. I don't want people to say, Renuka is a great author. I want them to say, Renuka writes in a way that makes you feel safe and understood. She loves reading and writing. She believes in a world beyond logic. She enjoys coffee and stares at the sky to find answers from the universe. Maybe others won't notice all this, but you can. You can choose to live more. You can choose to become someone so amazing that even you fall in love with yourself every day. When someone asks you about yourself, you should have to pause and think, where should I even start? That's why I said earlier, learning about yourself is a journey for life. You change a little every day. You grow with every song, every book, every video, every thought. This is why one description won't ever be enough. If you want to know yourself, be interested in yourself forever. And always remember, you are more than a tag. You are not something to be labeled. Be undefinable. Let people wonder who you are while you keep building a version of yourself that even you fall in love with every single day. 30. Define who and what you are not. Let me tell you something. When you start the journey of discovering yourself, you'll realize something important. You are not simple, and that's actually a good thing. But this is also why many people give up on themselves. They find it too much to deal with. When I started learning about myself, I felt confused and overwhelmed. I didn't know where to begin. I am not like a school subject, and there was no index or step-by-step guide to follow. After trying many things, reading books and experimenting, I found one piece of advice that helped me begin this journey. The advice was, if you don't know who you are, start by knowing who you are not and who you don't want to be. It's much easier to figure out who you're not than to figure out who you really are. When you make a list of what you are not and what you don't want to be, you start to understand what you don't like and why. It helps you understand your choices, your values, and how your mind works. You can start by making a list of things you hate or are against, even if the world accepts those things. Then, write down or think about why you don't like them. Task. Take this as a task or assignment, whatever you want to call it. Every day, sit for just 5 minutes, all alone, with no distractions around you. Let yourself dive deep into your thoughts. Write down 1 or 2 things that you think you don't like, and then write why you don't like them. This will help you understand your values and bring you closer to your true self. It also shows that you are not a follower and that you don't accept everything the world tells you. It helps you learn to think for yourself, not just follow others. Ideas. But let me warn you, as you discover more things you don't like, but the world accepts, don't share these thoughts with others. Yes, I'm telling you to keep your opinions to yourself. Let people believe you agree with them. This is not because you're trying to please others or are scared. It's because the world is full of people who don't have an open mind. Not everyone will respect different opinions. Don't go around telling everyone what you believe. Don't expect people to agree with you. That's why many people just follow the crowd. They're afraid they'll be left out if they speak up. This fear is why many people don't think for themselves. Don't make that mistake. Only share your opinions if someone truly asks. Otherwise, keep them to yourself. I do this all the time. I know that other people are different from me. They had a different childhood, education, and life experience. So of course, their thoughts are different too. I don't judge them for their opinions, and I don't let them judge me for mine. And just because your opinions are different from others doesn't make them better. Sometimes, if you stay quiet and listen, you might learn something new. So now, go ahead and make a list of everything you think you are not or never want to be. For example, when I was in college, most students drank alcohol. I never touched it, even when my friends told me to try it. Why? Because I knew that this is not who I am, and I never will be. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't drink. I'm just saying I didn't want to. So I stood firm on that. Because of this, I was often misunderstood and felt left out. But I didn't want to fit into a group just to feel accepted. I wanted to be with people who matched my values. This is the good thing about knowing what you don't want. Once you know what your limits are, you stop accepting nonsense from others. You stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny. You stop saying yes to everything, because now you know what you are not. You know what you don't want. You know what you will never be. It raises your standards. It reminds you that you're not here to adjust to everyone and everything. You learn to reject what doesn't match your values. It's that simple. There's no big trick to learning how to say no. All you have to do is know what you don't want. Set high standards for yourself. And if others can't meet those standards, they'll naturally stay away. That's how you protect yourself from toxic people and attract better ones. In fact, once you know yourself, your eyes won't even notice toxic people anymore. With just one look, you'll be able to tell that they don't match your values.